How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. I'm back with another video. I'm going to be doing a few videos in the garage today, so I figured I'd go ahead and get started on this gas burner for the new gas forge. So I've been kind of thinking about it, and I listened to everybody what they got to say, and then I just kind of come up with an idea. I'm going to use parts of the flamethrower, whatever that thing is, and then I'm going to use parts that I went and bought. I watched a bunch of videos. I think I have a way I want to build my burner. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start putting this thing together so we can get us a gas forge built. Okay, I'm going to give you a rundown on some of the parts that I have, and of course you guys seen the gas flamethrower. It's got the regulator on it. It has a valve on it too. We're going to be using that valve, and I had bought some of these guys. Now this is 2" by 3/4 on this side, and then I bought a 6" piece of 3/4. This will be getting screwed into this. Okay. Now this here I think is going to be optional in my case. This is a 1 by 3/4, and this would screw on this part, and it's supposed to go inside your forge, but I'm not so sure I'm going to put that inside my forge. So that's going to be optional for me anyhow. So my first step is I'm going to be working on these guys. I'm still missing a few pieces here. I'm going to put 2 burners in this forge. I really wanted 3, but we're going to put 2 right now and see how things go. And if I have to, I'll put a 3rd. So this is going to be our 2 burners here. Now this is the setup. Let me see how I get this thing together. I'm still, like I said, I'm still missing a few pieces of plumbing. I'm going to have to go pick them up, but I can get this started right now. So this, let's say this goes down into our forge. I really only wanted 2" between these 2 pieces of these 2 burners. I wanted 2" between them. And the way I got this set up right now, I'm going to be a little bigger than 2". And what I've done here, this is all 1/4". This is all 1/4" pieces. Or is that 1/2 inch? It says 1/2 inch on it. Okay, let's say this is all 1/2 inch. And then this up here is 1/4 inch. Now the valves, only valves I have is 1/4 inch. I have a bunch of these little valves, they're all 1/4 inch. And the guy that sold me, he sold me one of these valves, but he said, hey Kevin, he said it's got a nylon in there, and if this gets too hot, that nylon's going to burn out of there. So I came across these little valves, and I figured, and they don't have nylon in them, so we're going to give one of these a shot. I'm sure out of 3 of these we got to have one good one. So what I need now, this little nipple in here, I want to put a nipple over here. That way I can shorten this up. I need this as short. Once I thread it all together, it should be pretty short. But these 2 pieces are going to go down in our burner sort of like this. So we could go ahead and get started on these pieces and mounting this into here, and then we could get these pieces later. So I'm going to work on these couple pieces here, getting them mounted into these 1.5" pieces. And it's just going to consist in drilling a few holes, and then we're going to drill a few holes in them, and then we're going to thread them so we can put these guys. I'll have to unscrew this whole thing here. We want to be able to center this thing right up in the center, and then our little burner is going to be right on here, and we'll show you how that goes too. But we want them centered up inside there just like that. So let's get to cleaning these guys up and getting them ready to drill out. Alright, my first step is I'm going to go right on this seam right here, and I'm going to flatten this out a little bit. I'm going to flatten this one out a little bit. Then I'm going to go 90 degrees to it, and I'm going to flatten a spot here and a spot over here. And I figured since this 2 by 72" sander is all done, let's see how it works. Let's get it to sand this thing off. Works pretty good. I'm going to try to make this 90 degrees to these. So I don't know how I'm going to do that. Let's see here. Get them 90 degrees off of them. I figure I could just put a square on here. Give me a square on my flat spot. And right where it touches the metal, if I make a mark, I should be 90 off of that. I've done 90 off of this one too. And just where it touches the metal, just where it touches there, it should be 90 off of that one. So I should be able to go right in here and make me a, it should be pretty close to 90. I think it'll be fine. Like there, and one over here. So we'll get to grinding them off next. Okay, so we got a flat spot there now. We got a flat spot there, one there, and one there, straight across from each other. So now we're going to go ahead and punch these and get them drilled out. Now my next step is going to be punching these guys. What we want to do is we want to get it, I'm going to try to get it in the center of that strip right there the best that I can. So now we got a punch mark there. Now these marks that I marked on these sides here, I should be able to still see my little blue mark there. I'm going to come down about a ½ inch, about a ¼ inch, let's see. Let's line this guy up. We know where this is going to go. So I'm going to go down about a ¼ inch below that mark. A ¼ inch from this lip down. I'm going to try to get a punch right about on that mark there. So we got us a little punch mark there. This one's going to go back up on the top. We want it right in the center of that piece of metal there. That's pretty close. Now we're going to do this side again. I'm going to come down about a ¼ inch. I see my little mark here. I'll just follow it over, bring it about a ¼ inch down. Okay, you can see my mark right there, about a ¼ inch down. Mark, ¼ inch down, one on the end and one on the end here. And I think the reason why this sets in here, because you got one high, one low. And when you set this in there, inside of here, your bolts will push it and keep it straight in there. So it won't wobble back and forth this way because there's one high and one low. So it should help it keep it more sturdy inside there. So we're going to go ahead and get these drilled out. Now this might not be the correct way to mount this in my vise here to drill it, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. And I just basically looked down at the end of here and centered it up with this line right here in between my jaws of my vise. That way I can get it as straight as I possibly can, and I'll do that with all 4 sides. Now we're going to be drilling a 7/32 hole in this thing. Make sure. We're going to be drilling ¼ inch holes, so we're going to do a 7/32 hole. We're going to do ¼ inch bolts. So we're going to drill these 7/32, and then we're going to run a tap down through there. We're going to have to go slow because that's out over top of the vise. Just take our time and drill them out. Okay, now that we got them all drilled, we're just going to take a small ¼ inch tap and go ahead and put some threads in these guys. I'm going to be using a ¼ inch bolt, 1 inch long in these. So we got 8 holes here. We got a thread We're going to do 8 holes, thread them, and then we're going to put 8 bolts in. Just 1 inch long or 1/4 inch bolts, just like this right here. We're just going to screw this down in here. And we're going to do 8, like I said, 8 of them. We got 8 to do. So we're going to go ahead and get all these threaded and get our little bolts in there. Alright, now that we got that all threaded and put on there, we want to unscrew this guy. Get rid of him for right now. And this is the piece where our burner is going to go in. So we'll unscrew this. We're just going to set this down on the table and we're going to center this guy up inside there. And we're just going to screw these till they're finger tight. And we want to look down in here and get this guy centered up. Okay, once you got it centered up in there, that's what it should look like. And that little brass piece, we're going to be drilling a hole and putting a little orifice in there. Now, once you got these in here like this, you could give these a little bit more of a snug, but guess what? We're going to be taking these all back out. We just want to make sure they work and they're set up nice. So that's going to be the inside of our burner there. Alright, we got that thing tore apart. We're going to go ahead and we're going to try to center punch this thing. I noticed they have a little bump in the middle of these, and that shows you their center. So I'm going to try to get mine right on that bump there the best that I can. It ain't got to be perfect. Okay. Alright, I think we're good there. We'll go ahead and get this in the drill press and get it drilled out. Now we're going to use, let me go see what the bit is we're going to be using. It's going to be a 7/32 drill bit. So we're going to go ahead and take our time and get us a hole drilled through this guy. I get in the center as the best you can there. Okay, once you got that drilled out, we'll go ahead and what I did was I just matched up. I'm going to be using a .025 tip in these, and that was just for my welder, my MIG welder. I'm going to use an .025. Now I have 030s. I got to go pick 2 of these guys up, so that's one of the parts I need to go get. But I can use this to go by. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing threaded up and get it put in here just to make sure it fits. And then I can go get my pieces. Alright, I went and got some new parts here. And that's the 025 tip. And we got 2 of them that look identical to this right here. And that's what's going to be putting the air down into our forge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting some of this together. I know that I can put some of it together, so I'm going to work on now I got some thread. This is the paste, and this is for high heat. It'll stand with up it says 3000 psi gases, from -50 to +400 Fahrenheit at 1000 psi. So, well, let's see. Then it's got 500. From 500 to, or from 50 to 500 use in water systems. Would probably be like a steam or something. It says LP2 oil, so it might go up to 500 degrees. So it's about the highest I could find. So that's what I'm going to be using on all these. And we're just going to take our time and take each one of these apart. And I'm going to start putting some thread, the paste on here, so we can have a good sealed up. We want it to be good and sealed up. We don't want no gas leaks. Now, I'm going to let you guys know, before you get started on this thing, I am not a professional, by no means. I'm just like anybody else, and I'm watching videos, and I'm just doing my best to do it the best way I know how. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do a little bit of tape on these guys. Now, not saying that this is going to be perfect. It's not going to leak or anything like that, but we're going to do our best to keep it from leaking. But we'll check everything the best we can. And these, we just want to snug them up. They don't have to be real tight. So we got that one sealed there. Then we're going to take this apart here, if I can. And we're going to get both of these sealed up like this. Now we got most of this all put together here. And I have a spring here. It says it must be 23 seconds by 3.5 by 0.041 is a spring here. And then I think this might be millimeters. It's 18.26 by 88.90 by 1.05 mm. It's a compression spring. I bought a couple of them in a pack. I think they were around $4 or $5. So I wanted to put like a little damper or for our air control on this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this spring inside of here. And then when I get ready to build my damper, I'll be able to slide the damper underneath this to keep tension down on the damper for air. That'll be for our air control. And we'll do one on this side the same way. But I really can't, I have to figure out my damper before I can go and finish putting the rest of this together. So basically, this is what it's going to look like. And these, like I said, these two springs are going to be able to hold pressure down on that damper so it's not flapping around in there. It should stay where we put it. So I haven't figured out the damper yet, but I do know I have to mount it all in these, and then I can come back and put the damper in there. So that's a little tricky, but we'll get her done. All right. This is how it's going to look on top of the forge when the forge gets done. This is the way it's going to set up here. Now I'll be able to turn this burner on with this valve up here, or I'll be able to turn this burner on here with the valve that's on our torch set here. So anyhow, I think this is a pretty good setup. I think it's going to work. I'm thinking, and you know, I'm almost 2 inches apart, but when you come down to here, I'm about 3 inches apart from the inside of this tube to that tube, and that's not too bad. I think that'll be okay. I was kind of watching a bunch of videos, and nobody really tells you exactly how far these guys are apart. So the top is about 1 3/4, and that's from inside to inside. And then the bottom is about 3 from inside to inside. So what I'm going to work on now is I'm going to go ahead and get started on our dampers for on the top here. I have yet to figure them out. So once I get them figured out, I'll let you know how I'm going to do it. Alright, I just drew a circle on here with the size of the hole I want to cover. And I made a slot here and then basically got a handle up here so we could slide that back and forth on this tube. So it would be able to cover this up, and it'll get some air in there, but it's not going to hurt it because you're going to want more air. With building a forge, we're going to want more air. So we're going to cut one out and we'll just see how it works. It should turn out okay, but you never know. Like I said, when we're building this stuff, we're just doing it the best that we can, and that's it. So let's get this bad boy cut out. Okay, this is what I come up with, and all you gotta do is pull to the side to get more air or push it in to get less air. I'm sure once you get it set, you're probably gonna leave it there, and the springs definitely have enough tension on them to where they should stay anywhere you put them. So you'll be able to adjust your air now, and hopefully this guy's gonna burn good. Hopefully. We'll see how it works. Now these are just like just cut out little plates. And I just pick up on the spring and slid it in there and move it back and forth however we want the air. Okay, what I've done now is I just took that torch handle, I put a little thread tape on it and screwed it into this 1/4 inch hole. So now, and I got my gauge over here, I got my shut off here, my regulator, and I got a shut off here. Now, I didn't want to bend this and cut this the way I need it yet until I get the forge built. Once I get the forge built, we'll cut this, or we'll get some more fittings and make it fit. It just depends on where we want to put it on there, but I didn't want to cut this up yet. So I got it all set up. I put thread tape around everything. Everything seems to be sealed up pretty good and tight. So now I think what we're going to do is fire this thing up. And hopefully it fires up, don't blow up. So anyhow, this is what we got. We got our little dampers here ready to go. Let's give it a shot. Now what I'm going to do here is I got this little torch. I'm going to take this little flame and I'm going to put the torch back this way and see if I can light it like that instead of me getting out there in front of it. I'm going to turn it down low enough that, and then we'll move the torch back away from there. So I think everything's okay, so let's give it a try. Might have to fill it up full of air. Oh, look at that. Right off the money. See that flame? We're going to light this thing up again, but I'm going to try using my regulator and see if I can push the pressure up a little bit. So PSI is actually pretty good there. So we'll say 50 PSI is pretty good. These pipes are still cold here, but I'm not sure what they're going to feel like when it gets in the forge. You know, I had a little problem with the valve. I wanted to make sure I got the right valve that's not going to heat up and melt the nylon out of the inside of it. So I would say this build was a success. It seems like it's going to work out great. So this is going to be probably the second part to this video, this build. But we do have the burners done, so now we got to get on the box and get the frame built and get the box built. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment if you'd like. Till next time.